All right, welcome everyone. We are so glad that you're here joining us today. Welcome to Bloomerang Academy. We are going to be talking about leveling up your fundraising with mobile. So I'm going to start sharing my screen. And what I'd love for you to do is put into the chat, what is your favorite thing to do on your cell phone? So go ahead and put that in there and share with us. True confession, I think mine's Candy Crush. Turn it off. Yeah, Vicki, I understand that. Awesome. Oh, Twitter, wonderful. All right. So yeah, we're going to be talking a lot about our cell phones today. So the focus right now is cell phones. And as we get ready to start, just a few housekeeping items. Should you need audio for any reason today, we do have our audio dial-in number, which is 1-669-900-6833. So I will put that in the chat here in a little bit so that you'll be able to reference that. Few other housekeeping items. If you would like to have a transcript running as we go through the session today, please click on the live transcript button on your toolbar. We also have a couple different ways that you can interact with our session today. Of course, we have chat, which we're using right now to tell what's our favorite thing to do on our cell phones. So if you would pop that in there, that's a great place for you to put in best practices or maybe share ideas with the group. But should you have a question, something that you really want to have answered by the panelists today, you can put that into our Q&A section. We're more likely to see it there and it won't get lost in the chat. So if it's a question, Q&A. If it's something to share with the group, chat is great for that. Just some other housekeeping items. The resources mentioned in today's session will be linked in the resources slide and also throughout the presentation. So you don't need to write down links. We will be sharing the slides and the recording with you at the end of the session today. Any questions that we don't get answered live or during the session today, we will circle back to you afterwards. And keep in mind at any time, if you need assistance, you can reach out to our amazing support team at support@bloomerang.com. So before we really dive in today, we are going to launch a poll. So our poll today that we want to ask you is this: what experience do you have using the Bloomerang mobile app? And if you would go ahead and just answer for us, we'll see where everybody's at with Bloomerang Mobile at this time. All right, well, it looks like we have quite a few. We have 67% right now that said that they don't use it yet. They're just learning for now. And we have about 10% who said they've used the Android app. And we have about 30% who've said that they use the iOS app. And just so you know, I can do math. The other one went down to 60. That it actually does work out okay. So don't worry about that. Math has not changed or anything. Great. All right. So without any further ado, I want to go ahead and start. So leveling up your fundraising with Bloomerang Mobile. Today, we have two amazing instructors for Academy. We have Diana Otero, who's the manager of product marketing for Bloomerang, as you all know. She has served on the board of the Nantahala Hiking Club, one of the 31 clubs maintaining the Appalachian Trail, which is amazing. And she is very much about helping nonprofits be able to really find success. But we also have with us today Nate Davenport, who is also amazing. He is a product manager of mobile application, and he has been with Bloomerang for 6 years. Nate and his wife enjoy supporting their local animal shelter, including through opening their home to fostering animals, which is so cool. So without any further ado, I am going to turn it over to our instructors. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much, Margie. I think you need to, there we go. Thanks, everyone. We're just switching over our screens here. But thank you so much, Margie, for having us on Academy. I'm so excited to be with everyone today and to have Nate with us as well. I'm just the opening act, and really the star of the show is Nate here. So thanks for being here, Nate. So for today, to give you an idea of what we're going to be talking about, we want to show you how a mobile app can really level up your fundraising. We know that you all use Bloomerang, but we think using Bloomerang on the web and your mobile app really takes it up to the next level. Would also show you a demo of the Bloomerang mobile app. So for those of you who are just exploring, you'll have a sneak peek here and give you some insights into the features that will be available on the app. And then we'll show you how to get started, and we'll share some resources as well. Though before we start, we do have a couple of reminders that I wanted to share with everyone. First, the mobile app is free and it is available on iPhone and on Android. So you can download it for free on the App Store or from Google Play directly on your phone, no matter what device you're using. Also, the mobile app is synced with your Bloomerang database, and your data is available in both places. So whatever data that you have when you access Bloomerang on web, that's the same data that you're accessing through mobile. And any changes that you make on either is going to be reflected on the other one. This also means that you don't need a separate login for the mobile app. Whatever username and password that you've been using to log into Bloomerang on the web, you can use the same login to get into the mobile app. Also, not all of the items that are in your Bloomerang database, or not all of the features that are in your Bloomerang database, are going to be on the mobile app. This includes things like reports, emails, letters, social hub, settings. All of those you need to do on the web, and then you can use the rest of the features on your mobile app. That little question mark icon that you're all familiar with as well, that's not an available option on mobile. But if you're using email on your phone, you can always send an email to our support team from there. Everyone's going to get the presentations afterwards, and these are linked to the App Store and Google Play. So if you don't have the app yet, you'll have that link when you get the slides. All right, now let's tap into Bloomerang. We really think this is going to be a game changer for fundraisers on the go, because you can harness the power of Bloomerang right in the palm of your hand. A couple of reasons why we did a mobile app to begin with. Some of the things that we were hearing from all of you is that accepting donations on site is hard, especially if you can't process credit cards directly. You also can't access donor information or act on engagement opportunities on site. It's a little unwieldy to always have your laptop with you. And it's very hard to stay on top of things and be productive when you're out there meeting with donors, at events, at conferences. So we think that the mobile app is a game changer for fundraisers, especially if you're on the move, because it allows you to fundraise on the go. It allows you to improve donor retention, and it allows you to get things done. Now, before we dive into each of those things a little bit more, we have another poll for you, and we want to ask you, how do you collect donations in person? So perhaps you use a card swiper with the Bloomerang mobile app if you already have it. Maybe you use another card swiper with a different platform. Maybe you accept cash or check, or you collect the credit card information that you enter later on, or maybe you don't collect donations in person. So select all that apply, and we'll give a couple of more seconds for folks to respond. All right, Margie, how are we looking on the polls? Great, thank you all. It looks like 82% of you accept check or cash, 55% use another card swiper with a different platform, 36% collect the credit card information, equally at 18% don't collect donations in person or use a different method. If you selected other, go ahead and type it in the chat what you do instead. And it looks like we have 9% that are currently using the card swiper with the Bloomerang mobile app. Thank you for your answers. Well, let's get into that. So the Bloomerang mobile app can really help you fundraise on the go, especially if you're hosting an event or exhibiting at a conference or a gathering. With the mobile app and the Stripe swiper, you can take credit card donations instantly while populating the constituent profile in Bloomerang. Also, you can really take advantage of that in-person interaction already and capture donations when constituents feel inspired and motivated to give. A lot of times we're meeting with our donors instead of having to wait for them to write a check or them to get home and make a donation online, you can process their gift right away. This also saves you time from manual data entry because the donation processing is real time. Once you swipe the card swiper and save the transaction, that's already saved in your Bloomerang database and all the information is captured. You don't then have to go back and take in or enter the information manually. Also, having the Bloomerang mobile app allows you to improve donor retention. And we have a couple of different features that help with this. First, um, just on your dashboard, you'll see a lot of great information um, with some high level metrics that let you know how your organization is doing. There's also first time donor calls. You also have on the constituent profile the ability to favorite a constituent. This is something that's a mobile exclusive right now. You have quick contact, and of course, you have access to the constituent timeline. The dashboard allows you to monitor high-level important metrics such as dollars raised, donor retention, and campaign progress. Also accessible from the dashboard are our first-time donors. We know that building relationships that last really start from that first phone call or that first interaction. First-time donor calls lets you know when you receive a first-time gift, so you can call the donor right away since you're already on your phone, or maybe assign a task to someone else to give them a phone call. When you get to the constituent profile, there is a couple of things that you can see. First, you have the favorites. That's the star over here. This is exclusive to mobile right now, so you can select a constituent to be a favorite so you can easily access them. You can also go to their timeline, of course, and really get your donors, get to know your donors. It gives you a complete picture of your donors' engagement throughout their history with your organization. So it's really helpful if you're trying to look a constituent up before you meet with them in person. There's also quick contact, which really allows you to connect quickly and directly with your donors. And really, with quick contact, donors are only one tap away. You can email, call, or text without ever having to leave their profile. One of the things we love about the mobile app as well is that it helps you get things done. We all know we're very busy. A lot of you out there are small 1 to 2 person shops. So we want to streamline processes for you as much as we can and help you save time whenever we can. So with the mobile app, this will help you manage your tasks on the go. There's also nifty features like you can record interaction notes when conversations are fresh in your mind, and you can use voice to text for that hands-free experience. On the task side, you can call, text, or email directly from a tasks. So if you open your phone or you open your app and you have a task to call someone, you can do that right away. You can also stay up on top of your tasks with push notifications. Nate's going to correct me if I'm wrong, but right now this is available for our iOS users. So Android, this is something that you can look forward to. So I don't even have to open the app to be reminded of the things I have to get done. I will get those push notifications on my phone and then be able to spring into action. Now, on after you've met with a donor, it's always great to capture those notes from the call while the conversation is still fresh in your mind. I don't know about you, but I can be forgetful sometimes. So it's very nice for me to just be able to meet with someone and then hop on my phone right after the meeting and have my notes and not wait till I go back to the office or go home and enter my notes. You can also update notes and send text messages hands-free with voice to text. So make sure to take advantage of those features as well. So that's a quick overview of what we have, but we all know that you're all excited to see this in action. And to help us with this today, we have Nate Davenport joining us. As I mentioned, I'm only the opening act, so I'm very excited to see what Nate has for us today. Thanks for being here, Nate.
Happy to be here. Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So I'm going to be using a simulator here to show off the mobile app, nearly full functionality. So there's going to be a couple of things that I just touch on that aren't possible to do with a simulator like I have on my screen, specifically surrounding the card swiper. But we want to be going through a few different things here, and let me pull up my information. So with the themes that Diana mentioned, we want to fundraise on the go, want to improve donor retention, and we want to get things done. I want to walk you through a few scenarios that we would see those things playing out in the mobile app. So from the top here, when I open the app on my device, I just log in with my same credentials, paste in that password, and log in. You'll see that just takes a few seconds, loads up my Bloomerang account. Now, you'll start seeing things that are familiar to you with some wonderful improvements on the desktop version of Bloomerang. This dashboard has a lot of the same elements, so you can keep tabs on your donor retention, on the amount raised, as well as a few other things that we'll go into in a little bit more detail. But right from the start, I have a nice macro view. So with the first scenario that I'm teeing up here, I want to focus on fundraising events. So at a fundraising event, I want to always have the tools that I need to fundraise on the go is going to be the chief one here. But there are ways that I can also make sure that I'm keeping donor retention in mind, as well as just kind of getting things done now, rather than having to kind of write them down or remember them until I get back to my computer. So I am at my event, my fundraising event, and people are starting to show up. I want to be able to take donations at this event. I want to show you kind of the process here for doing that. Now on the new app, we have a slightly new, if you're a previous user of the iOS app, we have a little bit of a new way of connecting the card swiper if you have done that already. So under the bottom navigation here, I'm going to look to the right and click on the More tab. And then I have a section called Swiper Settings. That's where I'm going to go to connect my card swiper. So once in here, I need to select the processor. The supported payment processors for the card swiper are Stripe Connect and Bloomerang Payments. So I'm going to go ahead and choose Bloomerang Payments. It's going to ask me, it has to use location in order to facilitate the card swiper. So we want to make sure we allow location services. And then I can choose to connect a credit card reader. Now, again, this emulator on my screen is not going to be able to detect the card swiper nearby. So once this detects your card reader, you'll see a little serial number pop up, and you just tap on that to connect it. Since I don't have the full demo experience for you, I can tell you that we do have a help article in our knowledge base that walks you through the entire process of processing a donation. But with that credit card reader connected, all I have to do is tap on it to connect, and then I am set. Can go straight back to my main tools on the dashboard, and now I'm ready at the event to process those donations without having to type in the whole credit card number, the expiration date, and the CVV. So we've got people showing up. I want to go ahead and process a donation. My friend Charles is here, and I want to. He's handing me his credit card. He wants to process a donation for $100. Okay, so let me just briefly check to see if we have Charles already set up in Bloomerang. This is Charles Young. So no, we have another Charles, but that's not him. So I'm going to go ahead and just very quickly create a constituent record for Charlie. And this is pretty simple. All I need to do is type a first name and a last name. There are a couple other required fields, but Bloomerang goes ahead and fills all those in for me. So the informal name, formal name, and so on. So with first name and last name typed in, I'll just tap, I have custom fields. Forgot. So if you do, that's a good point. If you do have custom fields in your database, you will need to select those as well. Real quickly, I will do that and create that constituent. I can actually tap on this success message, that green success message that appeared at the bottom to say, you've created a constituent. I can tap on that and go right to the constituent. So now I go ahead and add entry in order to process that donation. Of course, I'm going to choose donation, the top one here. And then I can type in the information I want for the donation itself. So he said he wanted to do $100. We're going to do payment method is credit card. And so now we have our select wallet item. If I had any saved credit cards in this constituent, which we can't because I just created it, then I would see those here, or I can create a new credit card. And this is where the card swiper comes in. So with it connected, you will see an option here that says swipe or insert credit card. So you don't have to type all that in. Once you have done that, just insert the credit card into the card swiper, remove it. Then the wallet item is created, and you'll see the last 4 digits of that credit card. From there, all we need to do is pick a fund, and then I have no other, I don't believe I have any other required fields. You may see things like if your account has QuickBooks connected, you will see a QuickBooks account required field. If your account has required custom fields, you'll have to do those. But since I don't have any of those, I'm just going to go ahead and click the check mark to save that donation. So that processed that credit card and will show up on here with a quick refresh. There we go. I should note that throughout the night at my event, I can use the activity feed to keep an eye on those donations that are coming in. That was over on the dashboard page. We can flip back and forth between the summary, which is kind of more that long-term view, to the activity, which is the hyper focus. This is the last things that have happened in my database. Okay. Bring in my other screen. So just to recap, for fundraising events, we had Fundraise on the go. We can create a constituent in real time, use the card swiper to process the gift. We can, if we need to, we can create follow-up tasks. I'm actually going to go over that in my next presentation as well, my next demo. And then we can get things done. So instead of having to write down that credit card information and process it later, this is a more secure, more immediate way of doing that. And that will also play into any automations that I have set up in my Bloomerang account. So if I have emails that are set up to kick off or anything like that, that will help out with that. Okay, I want to make sure that, okay, we do have a question from Nicole that I want to address. It looks like Margie is typing an answer, but I think it's worth calling out for the whole group. Just talking about the difference between Bloomerang Payments and Stripe. Bloomerang Payments is built on the Stripe platform. That is correct. They are different products and they have slightly different features. So for instance, with Bloomerang Payments, you would have the option outside of the card swiper, but still an option you might want for EFT or ACH transactions. Those are those direct bank transfer transactions that donors might want to give at that lower processing fee rate. Also kindful fundraising tools. If you want to take advantage of that with your Bloomerang accounts, Bloomerang payments is a requirement there. So there are some features that you would have with Bloomerang payments that you might not have with Stripe Connect alone. Great question there. Okay, so we've done events. Now I want to look at in-person cultivation. This is another, like Dana was saying, I'm similar in that my memory is not great. Just ask my wife. She can tell you that I forget everything. So I want to look at ways that I can use Bloomerang to supplement my memory, as well as record things as they're happening. So let's go back and use Bloomerang to do that. Logged me out here, guys. All right. While I'm logging in, I will also note that the Bloomerang mobile app does offer biometric login options. So if your phone has Touch ID, like your fingerprint scan, or Face ID to scan your face to let you log in, you can take advantage of either one of those, or you can also just use your password. But the biometric options will make things go a little bit quicker. So we want to look at ways that, let's say I have a meeting with my one of my major donors. I want to brush up on a few things before I get to this meeting. So let's go ahead and go over now. The donor in question is one that I have gone ahead and marked as a favorite. This is a great use case for using the favorites tool, because these are the ones, the constituents that I want to have quick access to. And that means that whenever I go to the search page, they're going to be sitting right here. So let's go ahead and tap on Josiah Bartlett here. This is my major donor that I have marked as a favorite. I've got a meeting with Josiah, or Jed as he prefers to be called. So I'm going to do a little brushing up. Now, obviously I can see from the timeline and on the constituent record here, Jed is a very generous giver, very engaged with my organization. Actually, his whole family is. And I recall, I believe his daughter was helping us out with something, but I can't remember what. So I'm going to use Bloomerang to head over to the profile where I've got all this information stored. Let's go under relationships, his daughter Zoe here. I'm going to tap on her name and actually visit Zoe's constituent profile. So under the profile, I believe in my custom fields, I've got some information stored here. So let me see how, okay, so Zoe was a puppy parent, great. I just see that in my custom field information here, and was actually sponsoring 2 puppies. So that way when I'm meeting with Jed, I can just casually mention, thanks, tell Zoe thanks so much for help with the puppies. And that's gonna make that interaction way more engaging, and I don't have to remember every detail about these thousands of people that I have to interact with. So this is a great way to cram before a meeting with someone important. Okay, so let's go back to Jed's profile here on the timeline. So in this case, I've gone ahead and met with Jed. Things went well. And I want to go ahead and record that interaction. So I'm going to add entry here on the timeline, and I'm going to create an interaction. This is a great way to make sure that the information in Bloomerang is always current. So that way, if either I come back and I meet with Jed, or if another member of my staff comes in and wants to see, they'll be able to see exactly what happened. So met for coffee on November 10th. I can choose a purpose. We'll say Impactor cultivation, and the channel was in person. That's all I need to do here, but we'll probably want to leave some notes. Here's where I can either type these in, or on both Android and iPhone, you can use the voice to text to just dictate this. So that makes that a little bit easier and you don't have to spend all that time typing. So let's go ahead and save that interaction. And just like that, I've recorded that this is what happened. And that way, my nervous system, my app, my Bloomerang database is up to date, and we have a record of what went down. Now, it's always a good idea when you finish your one touch point to set up that next touch point with someone like Jed. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to add an entry and create a task, because what I want to do is I want to follow up and basically schedule myself to, sorry. Apologies for that. We have a little timer on this, and sometimes it just cuts off. So I'm going to log back in real quick. But when I'm through with this meeting, it's a great idea to make sure that meeting, the next one is set up. So we can use tasks to do that as a great way to make sure that I don't forget. Like Diana was saying, if you're an iPhone user, then you will get a push notification on the day that the task is due, and that's a great way to keep up. We are going to be working on bringing that functionality over to Android as well as hopefully expanding that just a little bit. I think my page is not behaving well, so I'm going to attempt to reload. My apologies, everyone. Okay, it's going to take a minute. So going to just kind of talk through a few of the things that I had left in mind, which we're close to. When you log in to Bloomerang, one scenario that we also find our customers really love is using the activity feed to keep up with what's happening. So you saw that briefly in the screen share that I just did, and the activity feed can be a great way, say for Giving Tuesday, which is coming up, to keep an immediate and up to the second view of transactions that are coming in. So with that in mind, with Giving Tuesday coming up, keep in mind that the mobile app will give you that activity feed. There are also, and you'll recognize this from when you use Bloomerang on your computer, the dashboard will give you those campaigns that you can use to compare and check your progress on each one compared to the goal. Also, in terms of donor retention, you will have that donor calls widget on your mobile dashboard, so that when someone gives for the first time, they're going to show up there, and that way you can make sure to give them a call to thank them for that. Again, also those favorite constituents. If you, let's say on Giving Tuesday, you're keeping an eye on a few specific people that you want to check to see if they interact with one of your staff members, or if they give online, you can do that by marking those as favorites. I do apologize. It does look like my emulator is having some issues, so I don't think I'm going to be able to screen share any other parts of this, but I think that is a great segue to be able to open up for any questions that you have. It looks like we have been going through some of those as we've gone, so that's great. But I would like to open up if you have any questions about the mobile app, iOS, Android features. Can I do this? When is this coming? Anything like that. Feel free to pop those in the chat, and we will answer those as best we can.
Thanks so much, Nate. Of course,
Mhm.
technology is going to
Of
give
course it
us
is.
a little bit of a tricky time. Isn't that always the case?
Always.
It looks like we do have some questions coming in.
Yeah, great. Okay, Vicky, great question. She asks, can you do pledge entries on the mobile app? So yes, if one of your constituents has a pledge set up or actually a recurring donation, you can add a pledge payment or a recurring donation payment to those. For the time being right now, it's not possible to create a new pledge or a new recurring donation from mobile. Those would have to be done from your desktop. But we are looking at adding that functionality in the future. I can't remember if we have an extra slide on the card swipers. We do. Okay, great. So we're gonna. I see a couple of questions about the card swiper, which is a great time to mention our customer success team that we're gonna put some information up. They are going to be the main point of contact for getting a card swiper. They are $99, and they can facilitate that. So more info on that coming up. While we are waiting for any other questions to roll in, I did want to take a moment to talk about the features portal. So as a product manager, my job basically is to listen to all of you and try to make the Bloomerang mobile experience what you want and make it work for you and solve problems that you have. So one way that you can give us feedback is through the features portal in Bloomerang. So if in your desktop account, that question mark that Diana mentioned, it's a great way to have a shortcut to get in touch with support. It's also a great way to visit the features portal so that you can submit a feature request. Those come straight to me. I read all of those and am able to understand what you want to have in Bloomerang Mobile. So please always feel free to do that. Okay, I see a question about the Android app. What we saw today will be the same experience for both Android and iOS. So the only difference right now is those push notifications. Everything else will be exactly the same.
I love that. So Nate, does that mean if I was an Android user and I'm now switching to an iPhone, I will be using the exact same app and it's going to look the same?
Yes, exactly the same. One reason that if you've been following the saga of the mobile app, you know that we released our first iOS app over 2 years ago, and almost since then we've been working on kind of building this app in a very specific way so that we could always make sure that the iOS and Android versions were as close to each other as possible. So I want to make sure that your experience is similar no matter what kind of phone you like to use. Good question here about Square card readers. It's not possible to pair a Square card reader with the Bloomerang app. If you like to use Square and you want to use that operates with the Square app, they kind of have that locked down to use their hardware and their software. If you like the Square experience, which is, I mean, it's world-class experience, so nothing wrong with it. What you would want to do in that case is process those transactions through Square, and then you could import them into Bloomerang if you'd like. I see a great question from Vicky on attachments. The mobile app does not currently allow you to upload an attachment to a donation. So that is functionality that is on the short-term roadmap. So if you like to take pictures of a check to attach to a donation, that is coming soon.
I love that suggestion. That's another great call out to put into the features portal.
Yes, yeah. That the features portal also kind of helps us prioritize. You know, if we have 100 requests for this one thing, we realize, oh, that's probably what we should do next.
Nate, there's also a question here about privacy when using Stripe. Can you talk a little bit about what privacy looks like for the constituents?
Yeah, so I can say that neither Bloomerang nor Stripe will sell or allow anyone to access the credit card information, the personal data of your donors. Stripe is a world-class payment processor that's fully PCI compliant and extremely secure. So that was part of the reason that we built Bloomerang payments on the Stripe platform, is because there's no worry about any data being sold or breached or anything like that. So security is a huge deal to us, and we want to assure you that it is a secure way to process payments. In fact, when you use Bloomerang payments, let's say you use the card swiper, you actually don't even see in Bloomerang the full card number. That's not accessible to any of the admin users. It goes directly into the secure Stripe vault, and it's locked away there. Where, I mean, Bloomerang, I can't access it. I have basically full staff access for Bloomerang, and I can't even see any of that. So yes, extremely secure. Great question. And then I do see Deirdre asks if PayPal donations can be uploaded to Bloomerang, and the answer is yes. So any donations that you facilitate in your app of choice, so that could be PayPal or Square or anything outside of Bloomerang, if you can get those into a spreadsheet, or even using the Google Sheets integration with Bloomerang, you can upload those quickly. So yes, you would be able to do that. Awesome. Great questions, everyone. Keep them coming.
Yeah, we had a question earlier that we have some existing users on the webinar with us right now. How can they update their app?
Excellent. I'm glad that got brought up. So if you are, well, in either case, if you have Android or iOS, you'll want to visit either the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store on your device. And in both cases, you should have a place where you can see updates that you need to do to your apps, or you can just search for Bloomerang and you'll see the update option there. You can just tap that. There will be a setting on your device that does automatic updates, so you can turn that on if you'd like for all of your apps to just update automatically. So if you get to Bloomerang and it looks like it's already updated, keep in mind that may be what's happened, and it's just done that automatically for you. In fact, if you click the link in the slides that we're going to send you to visit the respective store, you can actually just update right there. Okay. Perfect. So like I said, we are going to be sending out these slides well, Diana said. Okay. Diana, do you want to talk about Card Swiper anymore? Anything else we want to put out in the world here?
Yeah, I think we've heard from a couple of folks already who are already using the card swiper, but if that is something that you're interested in, you can let us know in the poll, or you can always reach out to customer.accounts@bloomerang.com anytime. I know we have a couple of customers that have purchased multiple card swipers. We have a couple who just have the one. So just depending on what your organization needs, let us know.
That it's a great segue into Kay's question here, talking about, so if you're at an event and you wanted to deploy several people with their own smartphones, let's say their iPhones and card readers, you could do that. So they just need to be set up as a user in your Bloomerang account, and then they will be able to log in and do exactly what I did in terms of connecting the card reader and processing payments.
And Nate, remind me, we might have mentioned this earlier. So I only need to connect the card reader once when I log in, and then I can, so if I log in that night, I can connect once and then I can use it throughout without having to connect it again, correct?
Yeah, for the most part, yes. The hardware, the card swiper itself does have like a power off feature. And if it times out and powers off, you may need to reconnect. But that's the idea, is unless you go to the settings and log out of your Bloomerang account, it will remain, that connection will remain established and be easy to come back and activate.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I think we also have a list of resources for folks. If we go to the next slide. So these are just a couple of resources to help you get started using the mobile app. We have documentation and a short video that shows you how you can connect your mobile app with the card reader. And we have a quick demo in case you want a refresher. We also have, this is an older Academy class with the old UI, but I think some of the advice, or a lot of the advice there, is still very much applicable. So check that out to see how you can build stronger relationships with Bloomerang Mobile. And I'm going to put Nate on the spot a little bit here and ask him, what's your favorite feature of the mobile app?
I love, well, we probably showed them all off already, so I don't have anything fresh or anything different, but I really do love the, so little story. I used to work at a computer store fixing computers, and while you're getting in there with the hardware, once you do something, you have to go to the place where we stored all the information about customers' computers and document exactly what you did. And if you didn't do that, then the next person would show up and they would actually maybe just think nothing had been done and do the whole repair over again. And it was this huge waste of time and money, and all because we couldn't, we just needed to make sure that we had centralized notes somewhere. And so that's kind of the same principle here with Bloomerang Mobile. Is it makes it easier to say, okay, if I talk to one of my constituents, it has to go in here so that everyone knows it happened, and so that I know it happened if I come back, in a week and think, oh, did I talk to that person? So that, combined with the voice to text, just means that I don't have to skimp or use shorthand to type in those notes. I can just speak exactly what I want it to look like.
I love that. I totally agree. You referred to Bloomerang earlier as the central nervous system. And I thought how apt, because that's one of my favorite features too, is that I'm not always going to have my computer with me, but I am going to have my phone. And it's a great sense of comfort that I can update things right away, and someone at the office will see the exact same thing and vice versa.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. I think, Margie, that's all we have for today. So we'll turn it back over to you.
Great. Well, what a wonderful way to really be able to stay in touch and be able to access information on the go. And I'm so glad that you both were here today to present all of this information to us. Always remember, you are never alone. When you have Bloomerang, you always have support. So remember that on your dashboard, you can click the question mark anytime, and you will be able to access our knowledge base, the features portal, email, chat. There's all kinds of ways that you can get connected with support and help. So please take advantage of that. Please do keep looking out for upcoming sessions for Academy that might be of use to you. And we are so grateful for Diana and Nate. Thank you both so much for being here today. And everyone else, I hope you have a great afternoon.
Thanks, everybody.